Test. We should be live. Let me check very quickly. Then I will tell you guys what we are doing today. But am I live? Or am I not live? Should be. My phone is just taking a while to realize. Yep. Oh, yeah, somebody's here. Hi, what's up? Welcome. Right, so I am live indeed. Why can I not see the chat on my phone though? I always have issues with YouTube lives. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Some nice advertisements. Yes, pay me YouTube. Give me the money. Okay, need the chat too. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome. Let me post this on Discord as well. So, the goal for today is to test naval bombers, especially considering how bad the situation with the Navy is getting. As you know, submarines are completely destroyed right now. So we may have to resort to other tools from now on. And, well, naval bombers are one of the things I did not extensively test when testing the Navy. So what about them? Can we maybe win entirely just with naval bombers? Maybe we can skip the Navy entirely and focus only on that. By the way, we are doing this in the beta just because submarines are slightly better in the beta. Still very bad, but I guess it's hopefully closer to how it will be in future, because clearly the submarine situation right now is a disaster and it cannot be like that. It cannot stay like that. So yeah, that's the idea. That's the hope, that this will be more similar to how things will look like in a while. Now let me also show what we are doing in terms of the test. Now, I think I should have it here. And I also want to think about the designs a little bit, especially if you guys have any ideas on how to improve them potentially. So let's take a look. Would you win against light cruisers, light attack max? With what? So, Jamie, right now you would win against those with... well, no, with a proper fleet, because the AI doesn't do that. So we're not considering necessarily multiplayer right now. But by the way, this being the beta means that the destroyers have been nerfed in here. So we're not testing Navy designs right now, only naval bombers. So these designs you can pretend they don't exist, except this one is new. This is something I have been testing recently, added to the list of designs I tested. It's similar to a heavy cruiser, but it's a battle cruiser, of course. And this will be, or a bit better, it is already cheaper, because in the beta they reduced the resource cost for many of these designs, but we don't know if that's gonna stick or not. So one example here is, as you can see, it used to be that heavy cruisers are twice the cost of steel compared to light cruisers. This is the usual light cruiser design. This is the usual heavy cruiser design. But unless they change things again, right now making a light cruiser and making a heavy cruiser has the same exact steel cost per dockyard. That's interesting. And battle cruisers are more expensive. They have better armor than heavy cruisers. They have better light attack and heavy attack with this design, marginally better. So let me show you. This is the heavy cruiser, 12.6, 25.2, 16.8, and actually less heavy attack with 18.9. So a bit more light attack, a bit less heavy attack. Production cost, which is fairly similar, a bit higher for the heavy cruiser. The HP is much higher on heavy cruiser, 388 versus, on the battle cruiser versus 247. But the surface visibility is the biggest disadvantage of using battle cruisers. This is before we started naval bombers, but people ask me about battle cruisers specifically. So heavy cruisers, we have 13.5 surface visibility, and with the battle cruiser we have 19. So the surface visibility is much higher. The biggest advantage is 22 armor versus 8 armor. it's worth it. Whether it's worth it or not, I would say no, it's not worth it. Heavy cruisers are the best design in the beta at the moment, in my opinion. But again, that's not what we're testing today. So let's move on to fighters, naval bombers. So here I have 3 designs that I made. I made a basic one. This is just the most basic naval bomber you would make. Of course, we're not going to test carrier naval bombers today. We're going to focus on the regular ones. So this is pretty much the most basic one you can get. I did add an extra fuel tank to give them some extra range, but that's not strictly needed. So wanted to see if there is any module that improves in any way other stats that are relevant for us, but I don't think so. Yeah, this is only for strategic bombing, and defense turrets are for fighting. So there is nothing really we can make here, we can do here to increase the naval attack or naval targeting. And this is the basic naval bomber. Then we have the heavy naval bomber, which I would expect to be the best naval bomber we have available. Again, the extra range might not be needed, but there is not much else to invest in unless I missed any relevant things. So yeah, the flying boat might be useful actually. So I don't know if I would put it, but the extra detection could be nice. So this is one thing that we can consider adding. And I think that's the only potentially relevant thing. Unless the night, the radio navigation for the night penalty reduction, but I'm really not sure about that. Now, of course, this plane is insane in terms of naval attack. 35.7 is awesome naval attack. So that's really good. Let me see, can we add this without too many issues? How expensive is this? Production cost is 4, so it's pretty expensive. I don't know if it's worth it for the extra detection. But I guess we can give it a look. Possibly. Well, let's try it. And then the big surprise, something that I didn't make before. It's going to be the first time that we try this design. This is a large naval bomber or a maritime patrol plane. Now this is insane in terms of naval attack, of course, but it's also the most expensive plane by a large margin. Although many of you recommended in the comments trying this out, because these large naval bombers go in groups, patrol groups of 10, and they have very good range. So maybe we can get something done with them. So that's something interesting that we may want to test. And that's about it. So I have a document. If you have a tier 3 membership, you can check it out. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It's not really needed. But what I was testing out is, in this particular run as Germany, how many naval bombers could we have? Because what we have at the moment is... I will show you later because I was moving them away. But basically, we have 1,200 of the small ones. Though not really the good design, so I would need to change that because I didn't have the upgraded torpedoes. But about 1,200 of these ones we can make, or we can make about 450. We can make 450 heavy naval bombers, or we can make about 300 large naval bombers. Okay, so 1,200, say 450, 300. That's more or less the amount of naval bombers we can make without any special investment. Then in my document here, I'm writing down another potential investment, which is if we give up on CAS and invest only on fighters and naval bombers, then we can afford another 1,600 naval bombers, or another 600 heavy naval bombers, or another 400 large naval bombers. Okay, now for the testing scenario, however, we need the biggest issue, because I already gave it a couple of tries. The biggest issue by far here is, if I can find the test, what did I do it? I did it in cloud, maybe. No, I didn't do it in cloud. Okay, so we're going to do it here again, because I think I was doing it on my other computer, but that's okay. Since we need to test it from 0 again in any case. Yeah, okay, let's do it now. So to set it up, what I was thinking is we're going to move our fleet in maybe something like Dunkirk. We're not really going to use the fleet, but I want to show you a little trick that is quite fun to see. So let's put these guys in Dunkirk. the fuck is Dunkirk? Well, let's do something like that. Will be fine. Let's put these guys here. Then we are going to change this naval invasion and we're going to make it go from Dunkirk and here to southern UK. Ideally to bait the Royal Navy to come out. Because the biggest issue I found so far with naval bombers is exactly that. The Royal Navy doesn't come out, so you cannot sink them because they are simply not there. And that's the biggest problem. Now we're also going to change a couple of things for the doctrines here. So I think it would make sense to go base strike just in case we want to do some port strikes. So let's do base strike. I don't think there is anything we care about in here, but let's see. Either way, let's pick the doctrines like we normally would. Yeah, I don't think any of them is particularly relevant for this one. So let's do this one. For screens, we are going to do probably torpedo primacy because that's what we... Unless... Do we have any port strike stuff here? I don't think so, right? Yeah, we don't. Okay. Ah, but what about this spirit? Do we have anything useful? Naval detection, what do we need for this? Okay, we need fleet in being actually for this one. Well, because this is not particularly useful if we are not doing a navy build, so I guess scouting force would be the best one. Escort carrier support. I think we can get that one. Let me see. No, because we need escort carriers, of course, which we don't have. So it's okay. Going to ignore it. We're going to pick this one for the port strike value. And capital ships. I don't think there is anything relevant here. Yeah, there is nothing relevant, so just the usual line of battle will do. Naval invasion trick. No, please, Paradox, don't watch the Paradox. This is a very boring stream. You don't want to watch it. Please don't watch it. No, but guys, what I want to show you, it's very fun. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and probably they will nerf it after that. So I should stop showing you my tricks. Should keep them for myself only. Did they change? Is this the one they changed? I remember they changed something to give you more mastery, but I forgot which one. But either way, I don't think there is anything particularly useful we can do. So we are probably going to stick to night fighting. And I don't think there is anything useful in here, but let me check. Yeah, not specifically for the... Not specifically for these. Spearhead fix. Yes, we can dream about it. I think we can dream about it. Okay, so boys, let me get this done properly. First of all, we get rid of our planes. The ones we are not going to use at least. Okay, so I'm going to keep the fighters to keep the air superiority. Later on we can test and see if it's needed or not. It's actually a test I want to do. Here what I'm going to do, I'm so excited to show you this because it's pretty fun to see. Now we'll see if it works, because I only tested it once or twice. I didn't have much time, and then I wanted to do it. Live, but it's pretty fun. News. Don't do that, please. Why Rotterdam? Stay in fucking Dunkirk. Where is Dunkirk? Why don't I have Dunkirk is here. Stay in Brest. Okay. Okay, the submarines die instantly, even in the beta. It's a complete garbage. But I guess we are still going to use them. I just want to show you how useless they are, even if you assign them to something like the Atlantic regions, where in deep oceans far away from the UK, they just die instantly anyway. But not for now. We could also set them on do not engage. In that way, they don't die. But they also do not engage. That's a bit of the problem. Okay, so this all of these planes here, other than the fighters that I want in position, we are not going to use. And then I'm going to spawn them for each test individually, so we can test what happens. Okay, I would say we can start. I don't think I'm missing anything here, so we can start with the regular naval bombers. So 1,250. I'm going to spawn them, if I remember how to do it. Oh, look at that. I actually remember how to do it. Except this airport is actually not enough for all of them. Okay, now I wanted to test the various options that we have here, and especially see if there is any difference in setting them on naval strike or naval patrol, or naval patrol and naval strike. These are all things we need to check. We need to also remove one of them from here. Let's make a save for the test start in any case. Oh man, remember that if you write in Chinese here, I cannot translate it. You need to Google Translate it before me because it's too difficult for me. But if you have any suggestions, that's useful. Oh god, what did Barracks do to naval? No, for now, nothing. They will probably destroy them later. Okay. So, from what I can gather, my feeling is that most likely naval bombers will not be effective unless we do some port strikes. So just by assigning them to the channel on naval strike, they will allow us to do something cool, but they will not destroy anything. So that's what we are going to witness in a little bit. But actually, I want to deploy them first. Okay. Then let's make sure we don't have any penalties for overstacking. Something like this. Then we assign them here. Now, say that we use 300 of them on naval patrol, like 250. Okay, 250 on naval patrol and the rest on naval strike. Okay. And then I also need to write it down on my testing here. So what we need to check is how many ships are already destroyed. 54. So we're going to start with 54 ships destroyed. $250 naval bombers on naval patrol, and all of the other 1,250 on naval strike in the English Channel. And we're going to run the test for a few months. We'll decide exactly when to stop. We'll see if anything interesting happens. And yeah, okay. Let me do something like this. Let me see. I guess we wait and see how the beta plays out. Imagine if air went through the same roller coaster. Oh my god, man! I really hope one of the purposes of this test is hoping that when they completely ruin the Navy, we have something else to rely on. Okay, but let me show you this first of all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign 2 destroyers on patrol in the English Channel. I'm going to set them on do not engage. Okay, let's see. So the idea of having the destroyers on patrol in the English Channel. New bomber just hit only 1 HP. New bomber. Which bomber? What kind of design? Okay, so by the way, let's keep an eye on dominance here, right? And the idea of setting a couple of destroyers here is primarily to bait out the Royal Navy, so that maybe we can destroy some of their ships with... Okay, here we got engaged, so they will probably be destroyed, that's fine. Let's assign another 2. So hopefully the naval bombers get the chance to do something, even though we don't really have a navy. But guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about the fact that we have 60% dominance in the channel with 2 destroyers? How about this trick? When will they nerf it? How long will this last? So later on we can run some tests and we can see what else we need in order to have the dominance in the channel. But it would be pretty fun if these were enough. 2 destroyers to get the dominance in the channel, plus I mean these 16 ships. So there is a couple of battleships, a couple of battle cruisers, 4 heavy cruisers and 8 light cruisers. But of course these are on do not engage strike force, so they cannot be engaged. I don't give a shit what they change in the aggression. They can make the eye extremely aggressive, but they cannot engage these ships in Dunkirk. So this will keep working. The only question I have here, and we're not using submarines at all, the only question I have here is how many planes do we need to get this done? Because, and especially, do we need the absolute air superiority from fighters? Because that's the difficult part to achieve. Getting naval bombers is not super difficult. This was not a huge investment. It was probably like 4 or 5... no, at the beginning it was less than that. But in any case, not many Mills fighters. Okay, that said, let's also continue for a bit and see if we actually destroy any part of the Royal Navy by doing this. Because getting dominance... Meaning by the way we can trigger our naval invasion at any time is very fun. But let's see if we can get something else done. Look, we even won a naval battle with our 2 destroyers. And you know, the best thing about this trick, if it works reliably, is if you can make like say 20 destroyers, you send them 2 at a time, and if you get unlucky and they get engaged, yeah, no shit, you just send another 2 and you're fine. And by the way, guys, this is not irrelevant because you may be saying, well, okay, if you have air superiority, you can just power drop the UK. But naval invading is much easier and better than power dropping. First of all, power dropping, we need paratroopers. That's a special forces type. We cannot have other special forces if we use paratroopers. Then you cannot invade the southern coast. You need to go up. Then you still need to send the rest of the fleet, the army through the sea. So this trick here with air superiority and 2 destroyers is absolutely amazing. Now what we need to decide is when to stop the testing. I don't think it's worth going all the way to January, especially with all these fucking messages every 2 seconds. Now I forgot when we started. Let's check when we started. Maybe let's do something like 6 months. So it was February. Let's say it's March. So we may stop in August maybe, or we could do September. Maybe we can stop on September. So if you just use 2 with cheaper units, you can choose port invasion that way. Choose for yeah, but paratroopers, like the UK is defending their ports. The UK is actually defending their ports, so you're not going to get it done with 2 with paratroopers. If you send 2 with paratroopers, they will die. They will be killed. Okay, that's the main issue. So since we're on the UK and we can check, they just set the English channel to avoid, and this is something we already knew. This is at the same time what makes this awesome trick work. So the fact that with 2 destroyers we can get dominance in the channel. And for the same reason, our naval bombers are not very effective because the UK is just not using their fleet. So yeah, of course, if they change these and they let the UK fleet go out when you have naval bombers and air superiority, they will destroy these destroyers and this tactic will not work, but at the same time they will take more damage. Either way, let's continue for a bit longer and then check the final stats and damage. Then we're going to try different naval bombers types, and then we're going to start working with port strikes to see if that helps. That's the idea for the test. You could do it even with just 1 destroyer, but it takes a lot longer to get the dominance. With 2 it's a bit better. Yeah, I know. Paradox, I think they will keep fucking up. Because what they are trying to do, other than the fact that it doesn't make any sense, what they're trying to do will cause other issues. Like, make the UK Navy super aggressive. Okay, then we will fuck it up with naval bombers. They will not get out of it. We'll always find a way. It's just, okay, here it's a big engagement. Something I was curious to see is whether we can retreat from something like this. Probably not, but let's see. Yeah, maybe 2 is too slow. Oh, yeah, actually we can retreat from something like this. We didn't lose any destroyers either. So maybe if you don't keep the speed at 5... Oh, I forgot about the month, but let's stop in on the 1st of September, so for the end of the test. Okay, September 1st. Time to see some stats. So, first of all, let's go and check the total Navy ships destroyed, and it's going to be 141. We started at 54, so 141 on September 1st. I'm writing this down on the document as well. Now, that, however, doesn't mean that much, because what we need to check is maybe current year. We need to see what we destroyed. And of course, we destroyed all of the submarines because they are completely useless. By the way, Paradox, when you nerf to the grounded design, you should also remember to tell the AI not to use it, or not to use it in the channel if you want to make it useless. Because this way the UK wasted entirely all of their submarines just by assigning them to the channel. They got wiped out instantly. We also destroyed 8 cruisers, which is not terrible. And we destroyed... well, these I guess they are destroyers, these ones. So 16 plus 13. I mean, it's not terrible. We could check. Does it also say what destroyed them? No, I guess it doesn't. I mean, maybe we could see it from... No, we cannot see it from here. So, yeah. So I guess we don't have any information exactly on how this stuff got destroyed. But we can say that about, so it's 49 subs. Let me write it down. 49 subs. We destroyed 8 cruisers. And we destroyed, that's 29. Who owned those 9 ones? Nobody knows. So what's that? 38 light hulls. So the conclusion from here is not awesome because while we did destroy something, the Royal Navy is very much fine. So their navy is here. Their main fleet is here. They have another fleet in here. They have another big one here. Yeah, and we didn't cause any damage to all of these ones. So the Royal Navy is totally fine. And if we were to engage in any naval battle at this time, by having used all of these naval bombers, we didn't gain. We wouldn't have gained anything. So very minor damage only. When will Bulgaria guide be available for non-supporters? I think it should be this week on Saturday, right? Yeah, it's next Saturday. So in 4 days. It was simply swapped with the Navy testing video, so I just released that one first. Well, let me see what you're talking about. Oh, the UK never had really good subs, but I'm also interested in the fact that they don't use their planes. Like, they don't have any planes assigned to the channel. That's pretty fun. So they would have planes, they would lose them because we have better planes, but they just don't assign them. By the way, guys, this is the problem that Paradox is facing. So Paradox is increasing the aggressiveness, but the thing is, the UK is only aggressive against weaker enemies. So if you have a small fleet, the UK will engage you with a full death stack of 200 ships and wipe you out of this world. But if you have a very large and powerful fleet, they don't engage you, they are scared. And the same applies to the Air Force. So since we have better planes, more planes, they just don't use their planes because they would lose. This is the logic for the AI. And if Paradox wants to make something interesting, although I'm not sure that would be smart, then they should make the UK more willing to engage and more aggressive against larger and powerful fleets, not against the weak ones. Making them more aggressive against the weak ones just fuck up minors and then leaves majors completely untouched by the change, like in this case. Like, Germany doesn't care one bit what the UK does. As Germany, you can always invade the UK very easily. Then they make it impossible for the minors, which is not fun. Okay, that said, we tested the naval bombers, but I want to run one more test in which we try with port strikes and see how that affects the results. So, for the port strikes, we need to make a few changes here. Now, we need the planes to be assigned to southern England. That means we need at least some of the fighters to be in there as well. I would say the majority of the fighters should be in there. And then we need some planes on port strike. I don't know if the Royal Navy goes away from the ports. How about we just do port strikes, maybe? Let's try with just port strikes, nothing in the channel. Let's give it a go this way, out of curiosity. Guys, by the way, if you know about something that I'm missing here in terms of damaging the fleet more, tell me. One thing that I know I am missing is radars. It would be better to have radars along the entire coast of France, so that we could detect their ships and destroy them. We're going to test that too. The idea is to do that later on. So we're going to attempt that as well. Now in here, at this point, we would only have some fighters. I want to see if that's enough to get something done or not. Let's see. Also, let me see. Now the UK, see, now interestingly, the UK is not defending southern England because we have most of our fighters there, so they only have a few fighters. But they're sending a lot of fighters to the English Channel because we have less fighters there. The radar is huge. I do agree that the radar would probably make a big difference, so let's see. Okay, our destroyers got engaged, but we can disengage. This time they did not disengage, so they're dead. Ah no, they are repairing. That's cool. Let's send another 2 out, 3 out. So definitely the UK without the naval bombers assigned is a lot more aggressive here. So we are losing the destroyers and we're not getting the dominance. We're not getting the dominance because without the air superiority, that's a lot harder to do. Oh, but yeah, okay, so here we can see the big problem with port strikes, especially in places where they have anti-air. I would assume that's because of the anti-air. Let's see. So we lost 1,000 bombers over the last month, of which 900 were destroyed by the static anti-air. So port strike does not work for that reason, I would say. Our naval bombers are already all dead. Yeah, we have basically no naval bombers left. And of course you would say you should not target ports which have anti-air, but the problem is the southern coast of the UK has anti-air everywhere. So to get to a place without anti-air, we should port strike like Newcastle, Hull. But is there even a point? Does the UK have a fleet there? No. So there is no, maybe Liverpool, but we cannot know if they have a fleet there. So port strike, I'm not sure so far. I mean, what did we achieve by doing this, if anything? Now I don't even know how to see the ships lost. We did not achieve anything. We just lost all of the naval bombers, didn't we? Yeah, I think maybe some very slight damage here. But no, this is not going to work. This is definitely not going to. No point in testing it because this cannot work. You cannot naval bomb anti-airports. And I don't think with this specific design we could reach Liverpool at all. So we cannot naval bomb Liverpool at all. Okay, so I would say that this is about it for the test with this design. For now we give up on port strike because unless you guys come out with an idea, I don't think that's viable. I mean, maybe if you use strategic bombers to destroy the anti-air and then naval bombers to... But it doesn't make sense. So no, I don't see it happening. So we are going back to the first test. And this time we're going to try one of the other designs and see how they compare. So first, let me check that everything is in position. Ah, fuck, these ones, I don't want them anymore. Okay, let me save again because... okay, now we're going to give ourselves some of the heavy naval bombers with even this thing here. Okay. Which means we're going to make how many of them? I said 450, but I think it's more on the... Okay, let's do 450. So... okay. So now these guys will be on naval strike in the channel and maybe 50 of them on patrol in the channel. We need to wait for them to deploy first. Okay, they deployed. Perfect. The medium don't exist. I mean, by medium you mean tactical bombers, because what do you mean by medium? Medium you mean a tactical bomber with naval bomber modules, right? Something like this. But the thing is this doesn't give you any naval targeting. It gives you port strike, but it doesn't give you any naval targeting. So there is no point in making something like this over a heavy naval bomber. Now, this is known to be the best naval bomber in the game. It's actually a heavy fighter, but it is the best in terms of naval attack. And it has amazing range, which, by the way, here it's a bit wasted. So we wouldn't need this range. We could make it a bit better, but it doesn't matter. So the test is starting now. Let's check the naval losses is 54, so same as before. And let's see what happens on September 1st. While we do micro a little bit our navy. Now, interesting thing is, like, this battle, they... Ah, by the way, they haven't fixed... Of course they haven't fixed the fact that when you check naval battles, the game crashes. Of course not. Because nerfing submarines is a priority, you know? But we can see, like, here we lost 4 heavy naval bombers. They lost 3 light cruisers. And here they also lost 2 light cruisers, thanks to our heavy naval bombers. Which is pretty cool, honestly. It's pretty cool. Now we lost the ships. Lost sight of them, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, but look at the dominance. We get it so quickly. It's quite impressive. Good night, man. See you next time. So another engagement that we can probably take in the sense that, yeah, okay, they are repairing now. Fine. No. Where are you going? Why are you going there? Why do you have that? By taking the engagements, we can force the Royal Navy to be out a little bit and destroy them with the naval bombers. I think this strategy, by the way, in general, the fact that you can set a fleet on strike force, do not engage, can be abused. Can be abused big time. Because the fact that you can get the dominance with just 2 destroyers at that point is quite insane. Come on. Stop. Now, one thing I didn't check is how many naval bombers I had lost. How many did we lose now? Yeah, we lost a bit, but we're also not producing them. Well, during this time, of course, we would be producing more. Ah. No more destroyers for me. Fucking Royal Navy. No, when they do engage, you lose the dominance for a bit, but then you can regain it quickly. By the way, guys, this is the starting German fleet, like literally starting, like what you have at the beginning of the game with nothing else. I removed all other ships. Okay, September. Time to see some stats in here. So let's check the amount of ships destroyed. It's 129. It's lower than before, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, we destroyed 141 before, so it's a bit less. But I guess what matters the most is what kind of ships we destroyed. Not so much the amount. Because we don't really care much about subs and other stuff, so let's see. Subs 37, so that's less than before, but again, we don't care. Then we destroyed 11 cruisers, that's more than before, and that's pretty nice. And we destroyed, that's 29, 31 light hulls. Okay, so making a quick comparison now that I have it in front of me, we destroyed a bit less submarines, a few more cruisers, a few less light hulls. All in all, I would say it's more or less the same amount of stuff that we destroyed, with more or less the same investment in IC, because those heavy fighters, I mean heavy naval bombers, are the same. So, okay, again, not impressive. It's very good for the dominance. It's not very good in terms of destroying the enemy fleet. You don't have a chance of destroying the enemy fleet this way. Later on, we're also going to try with an engagement and see if a big engagement in which we use the entire fleet can somehow cause them to lose because of naval bombers. But honestly, I doubt that. And also, if you need to also build a fleet, naval bombers are not that great. So, it's time to test the large naval bombers, which I'm actually very curious to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to add... this is the right one, I think, yeah. 300, I think he was. 300 large naval bombers. And let's see how they perform. Oh, by the way... okay, this is fine. I already had the right one here. And I already have the right one here. Okay, that's perfect. Never mind. So these are groups of 10. I don't know how relevant it is, but you assign them in groups of 10, not in groups of 100. Okay, so now we assign them on naval strike and maybe 20 of them on naval patrol. Let's do something like that. Let's check out the amount of ships destroyed at the start. It should be the same, 54, okay. And let's get to September 1st and see what happens. Yeah, I also need to assign these guys. Bye. Goes fast. The UK is a bit more aggressive this time. I would really like to check, because I'm pretty sure well... If you click here, that's a crash. Most of the time. But I'm pretty sure these losses come from... yeah, they must come from the naval bombers. That's it, we still got our dominance, which is pretty cool. Losing these destroyers a bit faster, but you know, with just like one dockyard on them, you'd probably be able to replace these losses. Look at that! UK very aggressive, which is very beneficial for us. Let's see if we get some more damage to the larger ships before we draw some conclusions. Today's live will not be very long, but I also wanted to put this out in case any of you has suggestions on how to use naval bombers more effectively. Because this is all I can think about. Now, adding radars will help and we'll do it later. But I cannot think about any other way to use naval bombers more effectively than this. Do we still have them? Well, we lost about 100, which is quite a big amount, honestly. Considering it's like 1/3 of what we had, we already lost. Oh, now interesting. We are losing the... Where are we losing the dominance? That's interesting. Okay, just briefly. September, yeah, one more month. Oh, big engagement. Too short. The UK, the most aggressive for sure this time. We may run out of destroyers. Interesting. A bit sad to end the test now, because the UK was being particularly aggressive. Naval bombers lost almost half of them, quite painful. Now let's see if we did cause them some damage. It is September 1st. 114, that's actually not very good. Huh? On paper, this is the lowest amount of ships we destroyed. Now, let's see what we destroyed. 37 subs. So that's exactly the same as with the heavy naval bombers. Cruisers. Only 8 cruisers. That's not good. And light hulls, 14 plus 9. So 23. Okay, so far from what we tested the regular. Let's draw some initial conclusions. Okay, so we tested this design here, naval bombers, and with the low IC cost, we could afford to make 1,250 of them. They destroyed 141 ships, 49 subs, 8 cruisers, and 38 light hulls. Out of all tests, that's the most ships destroyed, the most subs destroyed, the most light hulls destroyed, but not the most cruisers destroyed. Then we tested 450 heavy naval bombers using this design here, which destroyed 129 ships, 37 subs, 11 cruisers, which is the most, 31 light hulls. And finally, we tested the large naval bombers, which is or maritime patrol plane, which is this design here. This, due to how expensive it is, we could only make 300 of them. We lost, I didn't consider that, but we destroyed the least amount of ships, 114, 37 subs like the heavy naval bombers, 8 cruisers like the naval bombers, 23 light hulls, which is the lowest amount. We also had the most aggressive UK, and we lost the most destroyers because of that. My friend keeps destroying me in Hearts of Iron. He loves the spam infantry. I'm gonna play Germany or Italy. How do I beat them? Spam infantry. Well, if he goes for infantry, I would try to counter him with some SPG space. If you're playing the two of you and there are no rules, make Space Marines. Make infantry with SPGs, give them some armor and kick his ass. Hi mate, I am a new player and my question is it possible to make naval invasion in 1942? It seems impossible for me. What's the question? Well, naval invasion of what in 1942? Naval invading the UK in 1942? What country are you playing? It is definitely possible. And are you asking about 1942 as is it possible to invade that late, or do you consider it to be early? As Germany, you can invade anyone, anywhere, at any time, easily. Definitely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And you can check my historical German run, by the way. The submarines were completely ruined, but other than that, you can still follow the historical Germany run. Okay, boys, so we completed the first testing with naval bombers, and overall, I'm not impressed with naval bombers. They don't seem to be able to give us a chance at replacing a fleet, you know? It's not like you can avoid making a fleet and just make naval bombers and destroy enemy fleets. I don't see this happening, at least. Port strike is not an option in southern UK. And now, one thing that is true though is that with these naval bombers, look at the range, with the large ones, we could definitely be port striking the UK in other places. Maybe it's worth giving that a quick test. Let's do it. Oh, I didn't make a save for these ones. That's a bit sad. Yeah, let's give that a test. How many did I make? 300, right? Yeah. Nah, I forgot to press OK. Okay, how do we test them now? We do only port strike, but we cannot. And then you assign them region by region. So Southern England is out, definitely out. We cannot do that, but we could port strike both Scotland and Northern England. This could be fun, could be interesting. So the problem is we cannot sustain support those planes with fighters, unfortunately. Because fighters don't have enough range. We could cover southern England, but definitely not those two. By the way, also I want to check, and this is the right time to do so, if we do need naval bombers to use this trick, or maybe not. Maybe it's enough to have regular fighters. And it does look like it's certainly at the very least taking a lot longer to get dominance here. Then we're also going to try one more thing in here, and we're going to try and see what happens if we use just regular CAS. Because the UK may be scared of naval bombing, doesn't matter maybe how good the naval bombers are. Maybe as long as you have something that naval bombs the channel, the UK doesn't go in there and gives you dominance. It looks like regular fighters are not enough, as you can see here. So a couple more things to test for this is what happens if we use CAS, and what happens if we use naval bombers but we don't have air superiority. Those two I want to check for sure. Now, the losses are pretty heavy here, I must say. I'm pretty sure we're losing them because of... let me see. Let's see how we lost the... How come we didn't lose anything? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, our bombers lost. How did we lose the bombers? Don't know. How did I lose them? Well, whatever. Fine. Going to check later if I did some damage or not. So this likely is not happening. Interestingly, they are not engaging us though now. Now they are. Now they are. They would probably destroy us. Okay, those are gone. And if we assign more, they keep maybe engaging us. Maybe not. Yeah, so the idea works. The problem is we don't get the dominance, most likely because the UK is setting... Well, we can check that actually. Let's see what the UK is doing. So... Theory... no, yeah, okay. Two task forces are on patrol in here. And one is on convoy raiding in here. So they're very small task forces, but they do have something in the channel. Which is probably what's giving them... well, this one is not that small, actually. It's probably what is giving them the dominance to counter us. So that makes sense. Okay, then let's see if they lost anything. So in theory, we should have been bombing Liverpool. We should have been bombing this area here. Doesn't look like... yeah, okay, some damage here. Yes. Okay, not terrible, the amount of damage they took. This one is not terrible. Now let me see if we still... okay, we don't have anything. So we lost all of our maritime patroller. And I am assuming that we didn't destroy any ships this time. Yeah, basically nothing. Current year will destroy a few submarines, but apparently submarines die by themselves, even if you don't even if you don't even naval bomb them. They are so bad now, they just die. And a few light hulls. So we didn't really destroy anything, but we did damage a little bit. We did damage a little bit these fleets. I mean, quite honestly, some of them are quite seriously damaged. Look at this one. Now I wonder if we went all in on this strategy, what would happen? Like say we use everything on these naval bombers. So we could have made 400. 5, 6, 7. Okay, if we gave up on Casa, which is the scenario here because we are not using our Casa, we could have 700 of these naval bombers. Now let me try something here. Let's say that we put all of these planes, well, these ones we split them a bit, so at least we have some coverage. And these ones, maybe we set them all up here, since the UK was reinforcing there. Now that's something, that's a knowledge that we only have because we checked it, though. So okay, now let's see what happens. And say that we keep making them, though, at this point. I just want to simulate something in which we fully invest in this stuff. Of course, we don't have rubber. But say we're not making casa. Well, whatever we have, we put in there. Yeah, they go down very, very quickly. Wait, do they have any anti-air in here? I don't think so, right? Ah, they do have some anti-air. They do, fuckers. So is this the only place where they don't actually have anti-air? Okay, I see. So in terms of port striking, this region would probably be the best. But I still want to see if we can cause some damage to them. Enough to be potentially worth. God, they go down so quickly. So goddamn quickly. Now we can check. So air battle 3, anti-air 45. Anti-air is a big problem. And I'm assuming possibly the anti-air from the ships is also, it's not just a static one. Yeah, okay, so clearly this is not sustainable. Now we are going to check what damage we caused, but unless we destroyed a good chunk of the Royal Navy, doing something like this is a suicide, because these planes are expensive. This is a 99 IC per plane investment. That's a big one. This would mean having sacrificed all of our cash for this build. So instead of checking a specific, well, at this point we can get to September. Since basically that's how long they last. Okay, September. Okay, interesting. Now let's see what happened. Now, honestly, if you look at these, it's not that bad. But I don't know. Let's see. So we did destroy 134, and what is good compared to before is that for the first time we actually destroyed some of their larger ships. We destroyed up to 4 carriers actually. We destroyed 6 heavy ships, 19 cruisers, and 42 light hulls. Which, on the one hand, it sounds good. On the other hand, though, yeah, this is the fleet of, by the way, very smart Royal Navy not moving their fleet away from there. But yeah, this is the fleet that we damaged the most, and it was very serious. It is very seriously damaged, like almost destroyed entirely. The problem is they still have another one here. That's it though? Wait, they only have one. No, they have, yeah, a big one here, and that's not too bad. It's not too bad. These are light cruisers escorts. So in terms of big strike force fleets, they only have one in Liverpool and one up there, which is heavily damaged. Okay, I want to try the same thing, but in Liverpool. See if we can reduce our casualties a little bit there, while still dealing some damage. Need to do this again. By the way, what we're doing here is considering that we have a build all oriented around that, in the sense that we have base strike, so another 40% port strikes, and then another 20% port strikes from this one, which is not a big investment, honestly, though. It's something you can easily do. So yeah, say we send them all here. Here they shouldn't have any anti-air, so let's see what happens. I feel like we are losing a lot less than them, than before. But is the UK still there? Yeah, no. Oh yes. No, see, they just moved their fleet away, which makes sense. So at this point, yeah, cool. We can naval bomb here, but the UK just moves away from there. So then they move up there, and up there we cannot reach them. I read that deactivating the port bombing after the first wave and activating again saves many bombers. Okay, that's interesting. Or maybe it's a bit cheesy, but that's good to know. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so guys, this is the problem I see here. The Royal Navy doesn't stay in the port to get bombed. We don't know where the Royal Navy is. Now we are cheating. We are checking where the Royal Navy is. But we wouldn't be able to know that. And in any case, if they put it up here, we can destroy it, but we take serious losses. And if they put it here, we cannot even attempt to destroy them because of the static anti-air. We just get instantly destroyed. So far, that's pretty much my conclusion in terms of port strike. Doesn't work particularly well. Now I guess it's time to test the raiders' effectiveness. So we run the first 3 tests again, but this time we do it with maxed out raiders along the coastline of Germany. I think that's the idea, at least. So for that, though, I do need a couple of things, because I don't have an air facility. Need to make one. And I need this. And then what I need is the researcher, then a radar, then I don't remember how to instantly complete it. Need to look it up. I think it's SP instant. Okay. Okay. So now we have access to the radars, correct? Correct. However, these are the bad radars. Now, how do we get the better radar? What do we need to get the better radars? This thing here. And then there would be this one here. Now, I would say that if you were investing in a build of this kind, you would probably likely get at least these two. But let's assume that we are investing heavily. No, this one is still too long. No, okay, we wouldn't have this one. Okay, let's stick to the first two. Okay, and then since we are investing heavily into, but their range is pretty bad though. Whatever. So I would say we would be building them along the entire coast here. Maybe this is a bit of an overkill, but yeah, let's assume we're fully investing into that. Ah, okay, no, they become better once you upgrade them. That makes sense. Well, this is a big amount of radars that we have right there. Now we can run the test again and see what changes. So let's start with the 1250 NB. I don't know why there was some already there, but it's okay. Let me deploy them first. Okay. And I wonder if we still need patrol or not, but I guess we do keep some of them on patrol. How many did we leave last time? So we do the same exact thing. Last time it was 250 on patrol. We had 50 less, so we do 200. Okay, that's correct. Then we need to check how many ships are already destroyed. 54, that's okay. Okay, let's go. I do see a lot more. By the way, I also forgot to assign these guys on patrol. Now we're back to the UK being very, very scared of engaging us. There they go. There they engage us. Oh, here we're kicking their ass. Most likely thanks to the naval bombers. Yeah, we need to repair, but we did kick their ass. Again. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, fine. But we did keep the dominance the whole time. Yeah, the amount of radio is insane that radar that we built is insane. I'm very curious to see if there is any like very significant difference compared to before. You know what? I'm going to bet, in my opinion, there is not going to be a big difference compared to before. Let's see. 145 ships destroyed. So now let me go down here. So the amount of ships destroyed, 145, is 4 more than before. Basically the same. But now let's see the ships types, because that's more important. Submarines, it's 37. 37 is a bit less than before. Now let's see, we have 11 cruisers, that's pretty nice. Although It was 8 before, so it's not that big of a difference. And then we destroyed 38 light hulls last time. This time it's going to be 38 light hulls. Exactly the same. But we can add that to the list, a nice heavy ship. Okay, brief conclusion from this first comparison is we destroyed 4 more ships, less submarines, completely irrelevant, 3 more cruisers, it's nice, same amount of light hulls, 1 more heavy ship. Not particularly worth a special facility, special project, a huge investment in IC on the coastline. However, that doesn't mean, that's not because the radar is bad. It's simply because the UK is not in here. If the UK send the Navy in here, then we would be destroying them. If they don't send the Navy in here, having the radar or not having the radar doesn't change anything. They just don't die because they're not there. So that's why I think it's not going to make a difference. In fact, I don't think it's worth testing the heavy naval bombers and large naval bombers with this scenario, because it's simply going to be the same thing. What we have left to test, however, is the 2 things I said earlier. One we tested though. Non-naval bombers is not enough, but let's try with CAS. So we're going to test a couple more things with radars later on, but first of all I want to go back to this save, which I think was the starting default save. And what I want to test is this time, if we don't use naval bombers at all, and we use just normal CAS. So let's do that. Okay, so we assign our CAS. Didn't I select half of them? No, fuck, I did the other thing. No, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, it's this one that I want. Okay, now these CAS, we are going to set them on naval strike. Now, let's see if these, if my strategy, if my little trick here still works with just CAS. Maybe we still don't want to engage. Not our choice this time. CAS are in there, no? Fighters are in there, yes. It does seem to work. I'm pretty sure it will work. Yeah. So it's 61%, meaning we don't really need naval bombers. Just normal CAS will do the job. It doesn't change much, because the main point is the UK being scared of going there. It's not really the UK being destroyed. Since we are at it though, let's see if there is any difference when we just use CAS instead of naval bombers. Because that's also something that I'm curious to see. By the way, this is the design. This is the better design, but I think most of those CAS are not this design. They are the old one, which would be the C1. So most of them are this design here. Okay, so let's get all the way to September and see the difference. By the way, this dominance streak so far, I absolutely love it. I don't know if I will make a video about it, so you're lucky to see this, because whenever I make a video, I think Paradox doesn't watch my lives, but they may watch the video. If I make it into a video, they will probably nerf it. It happened before. So yeah, I think it's better to keep it for ourselves. If you think about it, this is insanely powerful. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes they send a fleet out and you see that you lose the dominance. Okay, now we also instantly lost the fleet. They don't seem to stay there though, because yeah, now they lost it again. You know what? This reminds me a bit of how it used to be before they destroyed the navy in No Compromise, No Surrender. In the sense that it was like you need to wait and there are brief moments where you get dominance. It seems very much like that. Except where you get unlucky, they engage you and destroy you. But if you just send 2 destroyers, you really don't care about that. It's so easily replaceable. Even for minor countries, that's easily replaceable. The real problem is having the same dominance Germany, I mean air superiority Germany has, of course. It's something you can generally not do. And later we'll try to figure out more or less how much air superiority you really need for this to work. September, okay, a bit more. Yeah, now, for example, now it looks like they're out. And they also destroyed our fleet again. They'll probably engage us again when they're out. Let's see. Yeah, they did engage us again. Okay, wait. It would be great if they didn't force you to constantly press disengage and they just disengage when you tell them, but we still have the dominance. Okay, and it is September 1st, so it's time to check some stats in terms of the ships destroyed. 113, I'll write it down too because this is interesting. So this is a test with just the regular CAS, not naval bombers. And it is, how many was it? I don't know, it was something like 1,600, but it wasn't a very good one. Okay, so let me check this again while I write it down. 113 ships destroyed. Of which 37 submarines. All of the submarines are the only guaranteed ship to be destroyed every single time. Only 4 cruisers. Okay, so there you can see the difference. The naval bombers all destroyed at least 8. This time it's only 4. And lighthouse is actually not that different. 14 plus 9 meaning 23. It's a number I remember. Okay, it's the same as the large naval bombers actually. Could you show one more time template for those ships? But yeah, the ships are not very interesting, but I will show you. Can I ask you a question about Special Force? Sure, ask. You can ask. Allora, so let me see. The designs, consider that these are not these designs though. The designs that we're using right now are the shitty Germans, the shitty starting German ones. Including the fleet on strike force. This is just the starting. This is just the starting German fleet. So these are not good designs. I'm just using nothing to achieve this. This proves how you can get dominance basically just with air. Then if you want to see some good designs, these are the good designs. This is the torpedo destroyers that is currently meta, but it will be probably ruined in the beta. And this is the beta that we are playing, by the way, right now. Then it doesn't change anything, but it's the beta. This is the light cruiser, the usual one. This is the heavy cruiser, my new favorite design, most likely. And this is the battle cruiser design that I'm testing. And I actually like this one. It's higher light attack and lower heavy attack than the heavy cruiser, but much higher HP. and armor and visibility, which is not good. And then the battleship I was testing, I didn't like this one, so I don't think this is worth it. And then the carrier, that's always the same. But you shouldn't make them because the UK is incredibly aggressive to them. Okay guys, so we tested the strategy without naval bombers with just CAS and it works the same. That's awesome, so that's fantastic. Now we need to test, I want to test without air superiority what happens. So let's go on and check it. Yeah, I'd say still with CAS. I think CAS cannot operate if you don't have air superiority if they are on close air support, but I'm pretty sure they can if you are on a naval strike. They still go out, you just don't have the naval superiority. So let's lead the air superiority. So let's see. They'll probably die very fast. That's the thing. So now we stop the planes. Send the CAS. Split the CAS properly. Put all of the CAS in here. Put them all on naval strike. Then we do the same trick. This time I want to do it so that, yeah, the army... I want to trigger the invasion. I want to see the invasion trigger. Okay, these ones are already repairing. It's very interesting. They are not sending planes. So you don't need probably air superiority because they don't use the planes. Okay, those are dead. Let's see. Let's still see. Because in our control ratio is much lower for some reason. I'm not sure because... I'm not sure why. Somehow this is not working without the fighters. Though I'm not entirely sure why. Why though? Because we have 100% air superiority. It doesn't make any sense. Definitely, we're not getting dominance. What about, what if we assign the planes? Let's see if we can figure out why that would change. Oh, damn it. Okay. And now it's working. But why? Yeah, now it worked. And the naval invasion even triggered. And if we stop the fighters, do we lose it? We don't lose. I don't understand. I'm not going to carry out. I'll leave them there. I'm actually curious to see what the UK does. Let's see if we can push the UK when they stack up all of their troops there. But what I'm mostly confused about is this. This is very strange. What are the best doctrines for each special force? I think I have it. Don't I have a video on that? Let me check. I think I have a video on that. If I don't, I should make one. You know what? Maybe I don't. I have a best land doctrines one. Don't I have the special forces in that one? Let me check. Oh, it looks like I don't. You may be right, man. I don't have a video on that. So let me tell you very quickly, but then I should make a video on it. So the best special forces... maybe I have it in the... No, wait. I should have it in the... Okay, let me look up my channel. Special forces... Okay. Looks like I don't. Okay, fine. Yeah, so for the mountaineers, you generally want to go like this, then left, then and then right. So you do something like this. However, this one is good if you use line artillery, which most people will tell you you shouldn't use, but it's actually very good with line artillery. And this one is better if you have a special forces cap problem specifically with mountaineers. Like this one gives you more special forces cap if you're using mountaineers. This one gives you more special forces cap in general. Then for the marines, I would do all right. So like For the paratroopers also all right, oh it matters a bit less. And for the rangers I forgot completely, so I don't know. But I think it's... well, I guess this one depends on whether you fight in jungle or forest, so that depends on that. This one is not particularly good for... oh no, wait. Yeah, no, it's for line artillery, but it's not even soft attack. So you probably go left here. And then the last one is always the same. The attack... but yeah, this one looks better. So you go left here. In the template one, maybe there was something about it. Yeah, maybe I remember covering. I somehow remember talking about this, but maybe I probably never done Rangers because now I was confused about it. And maybe I haven't done Paratroopers because I almost never used them. Marines, I covered them in several guides too, and Mountaineers are the ones I really use the most. I want to test this thing one more time, by the way, because I'm confused as to why we didn't get the dominance without using fighters. It doesn't make that much sense, but first I also want to kick the British ass very quickly, 1 second. Because everybody always says, oh, they have so many divisions I cannot push, but you can push, you can push. What are you talking about? Just make good divisions. See, you can push. Look at the amount of micro. Look at how I am microing my divisions here. They had a lot of divisions there. When you cannot push the UK, it's because you don't have good divisions or you don't have supplies. This was without air, by the way. Now let's go back to this start thing and see one more time if we can use the trick with just cuss. Fuck's sake, I should make a save. Yeah, okay, so now all on naval strike, knock us, only naval strike. Fine, good. Now let's assign these ships here. We get dominance, no, we get engaged, we get destroyed. Do it again. Get dominance. Get engaged, we get destroyed, we get dominance. No, we get engaged, we get destroyed, we get dominance. Yes, maybe. Maybe not. Okay, yes, we do. It was just a weird situation earlier that we didn't get it. Okay, so you don't need fighters. You actually don't need fighters. You can get dominance in the channel with a total of... say, to be safe, let's say 10 destroyers and something like 15 other ships. As long as you have naval bombers. Even just naval bombers and absolutely no air. Let's make sure that that's true, but seems pretty sure to me. Yeah, naval invasion triggered, all good. Now, you know what could be a problem here, now that I think about it? Now, this is possible as Germany. Yeah, we're not going to do this, by the way. Okay, this is possible as Germany, but what I'm thinking is... it is possible because we don't assign planes, fighters to the channel, so the UK doesn't send fighters to counter us. At that point, we keep the air superiority at 100%, even with just CAS, and that's very cool. However, if we were playing as another country, not as Germany, like say for example that we are playing as Brazil and we want to do the same thing. Yeah, now I'm thinking maybe that would not work, because Germany would have some of their shitty fighters assigned to the channel. They would not get green air, and they would, with their shitty fighters, push the UK to counter them. So that's one of the issues I can see with this. If you're at war with the Allies, but you are not the only one, so there is also Germany that can send planes in here, maybe the UK would counter them, and by doing that they would counter you. But, again, I'm not sure. That's something to be seen. Now, what I want to test is how many casts do we need to do this? And it would also be interesting to know how good they need to be in order to do this. So for that, what we're going to use is we're going to use some naval bombers. But we're going to use the starting naval bombers that I had here. Now, these are very bad naval bombers. Because these are... well, these are not naval bombers. These are what? These are C1. How come these are... no, okay, no, sorry. The naval bombers are this bit here. So in this case, we're just using... how do you see the design from here? Here. Yeah, we're just using the starting naval bomber that you get at the beginning of the game. You just need nothing. Basically, you need nothing to make this. In fact, you can make it even shittier. Let's try that. Let's make it even shittier. Let's make a design that doesn't require anything, that even a minor country would be able to make. So say that we research only the interwar small airframe, the engine one, and what else do we need? And maybe the torpedo? I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't make much sense though. Maybe say that we research bomb blocks. Now let's make a shitty CAS. So boys, in today's guide I will teach you how to make a shitty CAS. So an interwar small airframe. Engine 1. And some bomb blocks. 2. Can we afford 2 of them? We can afford 2 of them. But maybe it would be better. No, yeah, okay, 2 of them and nothing else. Because we don't have anything else. Without MIO, because we're a shitty minor country. And this will be my new favorite design, the shit CAS. Okay. We don't upgrade the shit CAS because we have nothing. Now, we're a minor country. What could a minor country be able to afford? Let's say that we can afford to make 500 shit CAS. Nice. We got our new 500 shit CAS ready to deploy. They don't even have the range to be in the channel. And we set them on naval strike in the channel. Can we actually make them not engage? Probably not. Okay. Now, let's see. First of all, I want to see if they get us the green air, assuming nobody's countering. Why are they being replenished, and by what are they being replenished? Shouldn't. Okay, okay, fine. Now let's see. We're having the same issue as before, so it's not working right now. let's give it some time. Let's give it some time and see if it is a matter of time or it is a matter of the castle not working well enough, not scaring them enough. Maybe not. Okay, the engages. Yeah, lost, fine. I think now it may actually work. Let's see. Ouch. Yeah, maybe not. Do we still have the green? Yeah, the green air is there. The problem is apparently it's not enough to scare the UK. Yeah, you can tell that they have more ships in here now. So now I wonder if this depends on... okay, no, but overall it doesn't seem to work. Let's try again. But I have the feeling this is not going to work. The UK is using their ships on patrol, while earlier they were not doing that. I think that's the big difference here. We're stuck at 4%. Yeah, okay, I think we can safely assume that this doesn't work. So Shitkas is a failure. Very sad for Shitkas. Now, how about some basic naval bombers then? So say that this time we're going to use these naval bombers. So these are the basic ones that Germany has. Let's use 500 of them again. This one's okay. So the main difference is this one can actually deal some damage because maybe the UK stops. It's not about what you assign, but about the damage they take. Maybe after taking some damage, they remove their fleet from there. So let's see. So here they are losing submarines, they are losing convoys because those are actually naval bombers that can target something. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we should get out. Let's see. Because you can see that there is some losses from the UK, for the UK, and for us. Okay, so it's better than before, but we are still not there. So we may be getting there. Very sad. Yeah, but don't engage them. And you're not. They are not on do not engage. That's not ideal. Yeah, I think we're getting. Look at it. Oh, we got it, boys. We got it. By the way, it may be wiser to assign, depending on how many destroyers you have. Of course, this is a lot faster if you assign a bit more. Right, now, by mistake, I assigned a lot of them. I was doing it with only 2, but if you're assigning like 5 of them, it's better, of course. And you can make empty ones, it doesn't matter because I don't need to fight. So you can just make empty destroyers. And the naval invasion triggers. Boys, this is quite cool. Like, you realize that right now we are invading the UK using only 16 ships, 10 destroyers, and 500 shitty naval bombers. And by shitty, I mean really shitty. Like, yeah, okay, there is these 2 here, but yeah. If you're a minor joining the Axis, could you get around German air messing you up by going through the North Sea instead? Or does Germany put air there as well? Yeah, that's a good question. But the bigger question there is whether this strategy would work in the North Sea, because I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we would need to try that. So far, to be honest, I'm pretty happy to see that we can invade, like, assuming that Germany is not in the way, with 500 naval bombers, we can invade the UK with a basically non-existent fleet. Like, any country in the world probably has a better fleet than this. And that's very cool. No radars, no special projects, no technologies. That's very promising. But yeah, what you're asking though, it's interesting. So let's give that a test too. Now, actually, what do we need to make these naval bombers? One thing I noticed now is that they had all of them had the better. They shouldn't have the better. They had the torpedo too. Maybe with the torpedo 1 they would have struggled a bit more, because that's a bit weaker. But you know what? I think you would be able probably to make a bit more than 500. It's also very cool that we don't lose them. You know, that's the other very cool thing. Yeah, we lose some, but we don't lose a lot. You would have to keep producing them a little bit. Which we are not doing here, so I don't know. Ah, they come from the reserve, that's why. Ah, no, wait a second though. Wait a second. They come probably from reserves, which is not ideal because they are dying and being replaced. I wonder how many we lost. No, okay, it's still fine. We only lost like 30. Even 30 per month would be okay. It's not terrible. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's give it a go in the North Sea before we stop for today's testing. And also though, until somebody tries with a minor, we want to know if it works or not. Because probably I don't think Germany sends planes there, but I'm not entirely sure. Yes, you can check the rest of the stream because we did test them. It's I mean, I think you're referring to these ones, not the heavy, but the large ones. But if you meant the heavy ones, these would be the heavy ones. So I tested all of them. I tested the heavy ones in the first part of the stream. I tested these heavy bombers, the regular naval bombers, and even the basic maritime patrol bombers, which have the highest possible naval attack. And the big problem is, okay, these guys can deal some serious damage on port strike, like some serious damage, but they also take serious damage on port strike. And unfortunately, if the UK has any kind of static anti-air, like they do up here or down here, then your planes get completely disintegrated. So it's impossible to use them. The only region in which we could use them was the central area of the UK, like this one. However, in here, they just move their fleet away. Their fleet could only be in this harbor. If you damage it, they just move it away. So it's kind of useless. As for testing them in the channel, they all performed more or less the same. So there was no significant difference between the small ones, the heavy one, and the large one. All the same, but of course the large one is more expensive in terms of rubber. And the main reason it's the same is that the UK just doesn't go there. I mean, I'm sure the large ones would be better at destroying a fleet if you could engage them, but they just don't put the fleet there. However, yes, you're right. They can be used a bit more effectively in other regions. This is a bit more specific about the UK. Because the UK, but in terms of destroying fleets that are in the sea zone, they are very good. I do find these ones to be overall more balanced though, probably. The heavy... Oh, what's the... 35... Now, the thing I don't particularly like about this one is if you need to research the large airframe, because I hate the large airframe. But the naval attack per IC cost might actually be better than I don't know, we need to do some math, but I think this may be better than... let's do the math, okay? Let's be good boys. So, what's the naval attack per production cost? 21... Let's say 21. 21 divided 24, okay. By 24. So it's 0.87. What about this one is 35, let's say 36. 36 plus divided 70. 36 divided by 70. That's 0.5, and let's check the large one. That's 57 divided 99. That's 0.57. So in terms of value, naval attack. First of all, we need to consider that they all have the same naval targeting, right? Which is 9. Which means the naval targeting is much better on the basic naval bomber. In terms of fuck's sake. In terms of naval attack per production cost, the basic naval bomber has the best, 0.8 per production cost. So this is the best. The second best is actually the large one, which would have 0.57. And the third best would be this one with 0.51. However, on this one I was putting these extra fuel tanks, which are not really needed. And if you remove the fuel tanks if you remove the fuel tanks, it also decreases the cost a bit, making it possibly a bit better. I would say they are fairly similar overall, but of course this takes the biggest investment and it has the best range. However, the range problem can be fixed. Like if you look at these ones, 1800 range, do you really need more than that? I don't think so. Now let's go back to this naval invasion strategy thing. So we're going to move these guys to Holland. Going to move these guys to Holland. And we are going not to use planes, we're going to use the naval bombers. What design is this? How come I have this design? I shouldn't have this design. That's insane. Whatever, I'll just send 500. I don't know if we have the range. Yeah, we do have the range. Okay. Let's see. It may actually turn out to be even better. Now, these guys, we want them on strike force in here. And these guys, we also want them on do not engage. Why not? Yeah, not here. Come on. Let's see. Certainly have less coverage of that area. And actually they have more strike force fleets because they keep 2 of them up there. I'm not sure this will work. No, maybe because I mentioned it in too many videos, Paradox decided to give the UK a higher priority in here. So far is not great. Wait, we don't have air superiority. Why not? No, we do have air superiority. Okay, let's check the UK because I want to see why it's not working. Because the UK has... so in here they only have 1 patrol, 1 strike force. The strike force one is this one, interestingly. Which is pretty far away. That may play a factor into it. And the patrol ones are actually these 3. So a few light cruisers... and then again, a few light cruisers and a few destroyers. And I'm pretty sure they don't send them anymore if they are in trouble. Now in here they have the same thing. So the same exact type of patrol. They have 1 more though. They have another group of 3. Then they have 1 strike force, which is still the same one. Interestingly enough, they have the huge death stack in here, which is not used at all. Okay. But wait, no, the problem seems to be that because of the... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a range problem. It's because we cannot... okay, sometimes we get the air superiority, but then we lose it again. We don't consistently keep the air superiority in there. And it's not because the UK is in there, it's probably a range issue. I think that's the biggest problem. So let's try with, since we were talking about it, let's give it a try. Let's try with the large ones. So, no, wait, how many? Let's say 50 because they are very expensive. But they would not have that problem, so let's see. In the end, if you were to research just one plane type, researching this one would not be a big problem. Let's see. So now I'm pretty sure that air superiority is not a problem anymore. Yeah, definitely not. Okay. Okay, let's try to up the amount of destroyers. Let's say we go with a group of 4 and see if it helps. It is helping, but we are very slow. No, it looks like for some reason the UK is keeping their fleet here more. Ah, wait. No, okay. Okay. No, it does work. A bit random, but guys, we're also looking at the most dramatic scenario possible here. Like imagining a very, very weak fleet and a fairly weak air force too. Be curious to see if we actually destroyed some ships in here. Yeah, we lost it again. We gain it again. Looks to be not very, very reliable though. In general. Now it's going down quickly. I'd say whenever possible, the channel seems to be a better choice. But yeah, if Germany messes it up. It's a problem. Yeah, now it's gone again. Only a very brief moment we got. How about if we increase, say, to 10 the amount of destroyers? Though this would start to be a bit risky for your fleet. If you're a minor, you cannot afford many 10 destroyers to waste. They still get wiped if they get engaged badly. What I would say is what remains to be seen is what happens playing a minor and going through the channel with Germany and see if the channel is a big problem or not. I don't know if I have any save on which we can test it. Let me see if I can find anything interesting. And not Bulgaria, because in Bulgaria we kick the Germans' ass, so there is no Germany. I'm playing a lot of Germany. Okay, maybe this one. This should be the the Austria one. No, but yeah, of course, yeah. So never mind. We do kick the German ass with Austria. What's there? Japan. Maybe Japan. Japan has an insanely powerful fleet though, but it's good to check what happens in the channel, I guess. Yeah, let's see Japan. Let's see Japan. So here there is certainly Germany. The problem is we destroyed the UK already. I don't know if the UK has anything left at all. And okay, we have 5 destroyers, but where are they? Yeah, okay, they're in Japan. Let me do something here, something a bit ugly. So let's remove let's remove submarines, let's remove destroyers, and let's remove this fleet from here. This fleet also out of the way. Let's assume that you have something like I don't know, 3 battleships, a couple of battle cruisers, a couple of these. One of these. Something like that. What the fuck? Okay, this stuff we put there. And then let's say that we have 20 destroyers. Okay. Okay. Maybe this is a bit too little. Wait, let's be a bit more generous. Probably have a bit more. Nobody has such a small fleet. Yeah, 14. Okay, 14. Now. Let them in Dunkirk. Wait, Germany is not in here. Oh my god. Can you show the tank template you used to invade England? Hey, I will show you later. Amphibians are rarely ever worth it. What are you talking about? Amphibians? Yeah, no, I don't think you need amphibians. Guys, one of the biggest confusion here is when people struggle with naval invasions, they think the problem is the modifiers of the template. So they say don't use, I don't know, line artillery. The problem is never disembarking. Like 99% of the time you disembark. Once you disembark, you don't need those modifiers anymore. Having marines, amphibious doesn't help you at all. Talking about single player, of course. So that's never the problem. Yeah, okay, so what I'm doing here is completely idiotic because there is nobody else involved against the UK. It's only me, so this is dumb. So complete waste of time. Maybe Italy though. Maybe Italy. Italy could be the one. Because as Italy, Germany is involved at least, so that's okay. Now we need to stop the fleet. We stop. Okay, okay. No, I was already invading though.
Formazione.
No, let me see one thing. Why is it so hard? Oh, Greece. Wait, do we? No, Greece. I think we kick the Axis as first. Maybe Yugoslavia. Forgot. Do we kick the Axis? Yes, we do. No, Yugoslavia should be fine. Yugoslavia should be fine. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah, Yugoslavia is perfect. Yugoslavia is perfect. Okay, very good, very good, very good. They are perfect, except we don't have any planes, I think. No, we do have some planes. Except, unfortunately, these are fighters. But I can give myself the planes, that doesn't matter. So it's okay. Let's pretend that we have some planes. Actually have a good fleet, but we're not going to use it, so let's see. Let's say that we go not there, or we go for this. Whatever. This doesn't really matter. The point is, we're going to assume that, well, okay, something like this on strike force, stake it, and then I need some destroyers. These are destroyers. Say that we have 25 of them, I think that's fair. So these guys would be on strike force in here. Do not engage. Let's automatically do this. And these guys would be in a different theater. Okay, groups of 3 is fine. Whatever. And they would also be on do not engage. Okay. Now let's see the air situation here. Actually, Germany is not sending planes there, it seems. Now we also need some manpower. Ideally, we get some manpower. And then I need some planes. Actually, I have planes, so I can make... Wow. Yeah, this is not ideal. I need something... Okay, let's say that we had researched, because that would make sense. The torpedo. And at that point, we would be designing something like my naval bomb. Can I do that? No, because I lack some modules. That's okay, because we are making a very basic one. So nothing else, something like this. Perfect. And honestly, I think 500 of these would not be impossible to get as a minor. So I think it's fine. It's fair. But I need the manpower, possibly. Okay, let's get the manpower in some other ways. Now. Okay. Why is nothing happening here? Oh, I'm not at war with the UK. Okay. So how did I plan to join the war against the UK here? Do I just join their war? I guess I just... Okay, so now there are the stupid German planes. No, but it's okay, it's fine. In fact, it's more than fine, because the Germany, when you have Germany on your side, they do something. They might not do much, but they do something. I don't have the tank here, man. I'll show you later. Which tank? The German tank. Here you can see the Yugoslavian tank. So it's basically always the same, but this is not the same template. I'll show you the German one later. What is this crazy thing that I was doing here? Yeah, let's see. Germany, fucking Germany. Nah, but Germany is messing it up a bit. Or not. Why is it being countered now? It's not always like that, okay. No, but there is another thing to consider, and that is Germany can mess it up in other ways, not just that. If Germany sends submarines in here, for example, That's a big mess up, because the UK will counter the submarines. So we need Germany to have absolutely nothing assigned to this region, otherwise it's very difficult. Though there might be a chance. Air is problematic as well. Let's see with 6 if we can improve the situation. The air problem is real. If they counter you with planes, it's problematic. And I'm not sure it's because of Germany, but it is because of something. No, you know what? It's not because of Germany directly, because they don't assign their planes to the channel, but they assign their planes to England, and then the UK to counter those planes sends planes to the channel. So this makes it very difficult here, because there are British planes in here. There would not be German planes in the North Sea, though. But we wouldn't have the range to go there with these naval bombers. I mean, we would face the same exact issue as before, in which we get green air, but only sometimes, briefly. Actually, not now, not at all, but if we do something like this, we probably briefly get it from time to time. Yeah, but only for a few seconds, because we don't have range. And in here, it's also for brief moments, because the UK are countering it. Now, it's not very far, so probably by investing a few more cruisers, you would get it done. And on the other hand, it must be said they are not engaging us, which is nice. If anything, it looks like they are countering us with naval bombers too. I want to see one more thing. I want to see if assigning our planes there would have any... But not all of them. Like, say that we have some fighters, but not a lot of fighters. Fighters that, like, we stole from other countries. Wonder if assigning them there makes things better or worse. Because in theory it should be worse. Like, the UK should counter them harder. Now the UK is not countering them at all. We are stuck. For some reason we are stuck at 58%. Ah, maybe we cannot engage. We cannot increase it more than that. Because there is also the fact that there is a cap to that. So this fleet seems a bit better than the German starting one. I don't know why it wouldn't get us the dominance. Right now, I don't know why we're not getting more than 58%, which, by the way, is enough, but that's another story. Okay, in any case, fairly interesting discoveries in today's live, I would say. Let's keep the UK's ass one more time. They deserve it. Then I will show you the... Okay, fine. The German one, and then we're done. Boys, I think we'll stop here for today. And then I'd be grateful if anybody has any thoughts about today's testing. The German template was this one, but it's wrong. Wait, it's wrong because it has the wrong equipment type somewhere. Where is it? Stupid shit. Okay. Yeah, now it's right. It should be more like 8 kilometers per hour. But this is the template, and the tank design itself, or better SPG design itself, was this one here. Was this one here. Alright, and that's it. So if you have any thoughts, any ideas on what we tested, how we can use naval bombers more effectively to destroy enemy navies, because so far the main advantage I can see of using naval bombers is to scare the UK out of a certain sea region, especially the English Channel, and especially if Germany is not involved. That seems to be working quite well. True, man. It's true. It should have the assault engineers that I completely forgot in that run, right? It's fun that you remember that I forgot them. True. Definitely, it should have them. We had them, we researched them, we produced them. I simply forgot to add them. Now they have it. Yeah, so boys, let me know if you have any thoughts about naval bombers and how to use them effectively against the UK in particular, because of course in other regions they can be very effective. They have they can have very good range, but against the UK you cannot port strike them because you lose too many planes, and if you assign them to the channel, the UK just doesn't stay there. And their big fleets are not patrolling, they are all on strike force, so it's very difficult to destroy them. How to fix SPG's insatiable need of resources? What should I build as Germany? Need of resources, you mean the supply use, or you just mean the production cost? Like production cost, honestly, Germany can afford them quite well, quite easily. Just don't make too many, I guess. You decrease the production a little bit. What you can do as Germany, I heard, I hate these buildings, but you can probably get some of these high capacity shit in some very good regions. Like you see here, you get a lot of steel. And here you can also get a lot of steel. So if you place them in the correct regions, which you don't have any tooltip to do, so you need to manually go around and look for regions, very fun. You can improve your resources, or you can just cap the UK and take their resources, which is better. Boys, thank you for watching. Plenty of work to do this week. I may do another live stream because I want to start working on updating Poland, but I'm not entirely sure. And for supply use, yes, you want to build infrastructures, and you want to upgrade the supply hubs through this button so that they build all of the railways needed to get there. But yeah, upgrading bottlenecks, improving infrastructures, and making sure your army is fully motorized are the best things you can do. Thank you for watching. Bye, boys. See you next time.